Union Home Minister Amit Shah, while visiting Tamil Nadu today, has dismissed Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister MK Stalin's claim that the state would lose 8 Lok Sabha seats if delimitation is carried out based on the population census. Shah has asserted that Tamil Nadu would not lose a single parliamentary seat, rejecting concerns over the potential impact of this entire process. The Home Minister has accused the Tamil Nadu CM and his son Udayanithi Stalin of misleading the people at a time when leaders from DMK are facing corruption charges, maintaining that the centre had disbursed over 5 lakh crore rupees to Tamil Nadu over a decade between 2014 and 2024. Shah has dismissed allegations of unfair treatment. Is it possible to achieve equilibrium that preserves democratic representation and federal harmony? Not to forget, India's position as the world's largest democracy is also at stake. And that's why the choices made in this process of delimitation will resonate far beyond its borders, offering lessons for other diverse federal democracies. Now, as Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister believes that if the delimitation exercise is conducted, then he would lose 8 of his MPs, and this is a clear thought or strategy by the centre to cut seats of the opposition ruled states. That's what MK Stalin believes. But how valid are Stalin's concerns? To better understand the same, we need to understand how many Lok Sabha seats each state and union territory would get if they are allocated the same according to the projected population figures as of 2026. We compared data put out by the Indian Express and American think tank Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. While the Indian Express data limits to the existing Lok Sabha seat numbers of 543, Carnegie data highlights a change in the overall Lok Sabha seat numbers and would have the strength increase to 846. Here's what it looks like. According to the projection by the Indian Express, Uttar Pradesh, that currently has 80 seats, would have 94 seats, witnessing an increase of 14 seats. However, according to the projection by Carnegie, the state would witness an increase of 63 seats. And this is going to be in total bringing it up to 143. According to the projection by the Indian Express, the current seats in Bihar would be increased by 11, while Carnegie data states that the seats would be increased from 40 over to 79. Rajasthan, it has 25 Lok Sabha seats currently, and the Indian Express projects for the seats to be increased by 32. While Carnegie, look at that, it's given a projection increase by 25, bringing it up to 50. While the states in North India are projected to be at the top gainers, let's now also take a look at what the southern states will look like. According to the projection by the Indian Express, Karnataka, that currently has 28 seats, would have 26 seats. In fact, there will be a drop, witnessing this decrease. But Carnegie projects for the seats to increase by 30, taking the total to 41. In Kerala, however, the Indian Express again projects the seats to witness a decrease from 20 to 14. Carnegie has projected for the number of seats to remain unchanged following the delimitation exercise. Let's come to Tamil Nadu. The Indian Express has projected the most decrease for this state with 9 seats, while Carnegie data suggests an uptick of 10 seats, taking the total tally to 49. While Stalin continues to lead this charge against centre using the delimitation exercise as a plank for his latest attack, the centre has set the record straight. Union Home Minister Amit Shah today also dismissed Stalin's claims that the state would lose 8 Lok Sabha seats if delimitation is carried out based on the population census, and has asserted that Tamil Nadu would not lose a single parliamentary seat. And not just Tamil Nadu, Shah has also made it amply clear that no southern state will be affected by the delimitation exercise. In fact, he's quoted Prime Minister Narendra Modi to give that assurance. Shah even slammed Stalin for trying to mislead the people of Tamil Nadu. But this will not be the first time Tamil Nadu government has targeted the centre. Remember, while the delimitation debate is the latest in a series running through years, it leaves one wondering if the protest launched by opposition is even valid or just one of the many strategies. It was merely days ago when the Stalin government accused the centre of imposing Hindi in the state by the means of national education policy. The ripples of the same continue to dominate political discourse even till today. And now is the charge of cutting seats in the state through delimitation exercise, even When the centre has introduced NEET in 2024, the Tamil Nadu government called it an attempt to interfere in the state's education system and even passed a resolution against NEET in the assembly. The Stalin government even accused the centre of exploiting its powers under Article 293 of the Constitution and severely limited the borrowing capacity of the states. That's a claim that's been made by the Tamil Nadu government. On the Kachativu Island row, Stalin has rejected the claim that there was an agreement between the union and the state government over the ceding of the island to neighbouring Sri Lanka and further criticised the Bharatiya Janata Party government for not having taken steps to retrieve this island. So on the matter of delimitation, the southern states are of course up in arms against the centre as a fresh south versus centre face-off erupts. Is the opposition protection valid, or is this a political gimmick? That's a question we'll be posing to our guests in just a bit.
மக்கள் தொகை குறைவாக இருக்கிற காரணத்தினாலே நாடாளுமன்றத்தினுடைய எண்ணிக்கையும் குறைக்க வேண்டிய ஒரு சூழ்நிலை ஏற்பட்டிருக்கு. நமக்கான பிரதிநிதித்துவம் குறைஞ்சு போயிடும். அதிக மக்கள் தொகை கொண்ட மாநிலங்களுக்கு அதிக பிரதிநிதித்துவம் கிடைக்கும். இதனால் தமிழ்நாட்டுடைய குரல் நசுக்கப்படுது. இது வெறும் உறுப்பினுடைய எண்ணிக்கையை பற்றி கவலை மட்டும் இல்ல, இந்த மாநிலத்துடைய உரிமையை சார்ந்தது என்பதை
Population should not be the only criteria for delimitation, because if that becomes the only criteria, the southern states will be punished for being good citizens.
We will definitely ensure that Telangana's seats do not get reduced and Telangana's representation in the parliament does not get reduced on the conspiracy of delimitation.
In terms of population, the delimitation would be affected very badly, because the representation from the south would be cut down. So it is not fair. It's not fair for a good governance.
मोदी जी ने निश्चित रूप से आपके सभी हितों की रक्षा कर डिलिमिटेशन में आपका एक भी सीट प्रोरेटा कम न हो और जो बढ़ोतरी होगी इसमें उचित हिस्सा दक्षिण भारत के राज्यों को भी मिलेगा.
Introducing our esteemed panelists today, I'm joined in by Kaushal K. Mishra, who's the spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, Lakshmi Ramachandran, who's the spokesperson for the Congress Party, A. Sarvanan, spokesperson for the DMK, and Shashank Shekhar Jha, who's a lawyer at the SC, will also be in fact joining in just a bit. I want to in fact ask Mr. Sarvanan this question to begin with. I want you to set the tone for this debate, Sarvanan, because the fact of the matter is, when the Union Home Minister himself has quoted Prime Minister Modi to give that assurance that it's almost a promise that not a single southern state is going to be impacted by the process of delimitation, then what is the primary fear?
So you want us to believe what Mr. Amit Shah says in a political rally? You really think?
I don't want. I just want you to share your fears.
That's what. That is the problem here. See, they have zero credibility, especially Mr. Amit Shah, because he is the one while tabling this women's reservation bill in the parliament, assured that there will be a census immediately after the elections, and the delimitation exercises will go on. But the BJP is stalling this census because the census which happens after 2026 will matter for this delimitation exercises. If the natural things go, the census would be at 2031. If they had taken the census at 2021, now they conducted the census before 2026, then we would have waited until 2031. The BJP is hell-bent on ensuring that this delimitation happens and the Hindi-speaking states gain more number of seats, so that it will totally alter the political equation of the present parliament. This is the devious intent of the BJP. And If you ask them why are they any questions on that, they are not answering. They are just throwing an omnibus assurance. No, we won't do it. As though they are sacrosanct, as though all the promises they made earlier, they have kept it up. When asked about this 15 lakhs, he said it's an election jumla. Tomorrow, if you ask him the same question, he
Okay,
will
let
say,
me
"Oh,
bring
did I
in
say so?
Lakshmi.
That
Let
is
me
an
bring in
election jumla."
Lakshmi. Let me bring in Lakshmi before I give time to Kaushal to respond to that. Lakshmi, how do you speak to these similar fears? Many are saying that there's also a diversionary tactic involved, but we've seen how this has become one issue which has in fact brought voices from across the states, not just Tamil Nadu. You're looking at Karnataka, you're looking at Kerala, you're looking at Telangana, and it's in fact cutting across party lines. How do you respond to the fears?
Good evening. Absolutely, you're right. It is an issue that affects the people of the southern states. Now, there is one thing that we have to understand. Once the Delimitation Commission is formed and they come up with, they do the entire exercise and they present it to the parliament and the assemblies, it cannot be contested in any court of law. So it is very important that all the leaders across party lines in the southern states who will be at a loss because of the good things that we have done, because we took strict measures on population control, because we were on the development goals in a disciplined manner. Because of the good things that we have done, we shouldn't be losing out. You should understand that people who go to parliament are not only the representatives of their constituencies, they are also representatives of the state. So tomorrow, if the southern states are going to have lesser number of people in parliament, which means our voices, what we say, our concerns will have no value in parliament. The big states, it's not just the southern states, it's going to affect the northeastern states. It's going to affect the smaller states like Punjab and Haryana in North India.
No, that's a valid point. In fact, if you were to go by the census of 2011, it is in fact the northeastern states which are bearing a greater brunt compared to the southern states. On that note, I'm going to bring in Kaushal also now. Kaushal, let me give you an example of the 848 member Lok Sabha currently. There's an uneven population growth. You look at states like Uttar Pradesh, followed by Maharashtra and Bihar, they emerge as the top three with 16%, 9.1%, 9% of the seat sharing. So I think the primary concern is emanating not just from the number of seats, but it is the percentage of the seat share. Even if that implies that the seats of the southern states will not be taken away, will it be in proportion to the northern states? That's also the prime concern, which perhaps is also fanning the fears, and fears not just in one state. You look at the number of states which are currently sharing that fear.
Akansha, delimitation is not a new step. It has already been done 4 times, of which only 3 times BJP was not even in the political game. In 1952, there was no BJP. In 1963, there was no BJP. In 1973, there was no BJP. In 2002, first time BJP was the party. So, in the last 3 delimitation, does you feel, or country feel that delimitation is wrong? It is a constitutional limitation. It is constitutional responsibility of any government to go for delimitation. If it was so bad, then why Congress government had did 3 times? Because it is a constitutional compulsion, and according to the growth of population, the delimitation will have to come. Otherwise, how you will represent in parliament? Parliamentary representation, which is a basic fundamental structure of our constitution, it's totally depending on the population.
Then how do you speak to the fears which are being flagged off by, say, the likes of KTR, who are saying that it should also depend on the kind of fiscal contribution that each state is making? At the same time, you have the DMK saying that why should states like Tamil Nadu be penalized for following proper population control measures?
Akansha, this is just a hypocrisy and double standard of these people, because if on the one hand, they want that every people should get representation in the parliament. On the other hand, they are going against the concept of democracy, and they want that the rich people or different type of people has got different representation.
Okay, A. Sarvanan wants to make a point. Let me quickly bring in A. Sarvanan. Okay, let Mr. Sarvanan come in.
See, we were talking about the delimitation which had happened in 1971. That was the last time when the parliamentary constituencies were readjusted. At that time, the populations were more or less the same. There was no drastic change. But after almost 55 years from 1971 until now, look at the growth of the population. We have strenuously followed the mandate of the union government. We said we will follow this. We will listen to whatever you say, and we have controlled the population. Can you penalize that for us? And from 1971 to 2025, the North Indian states, they have not paid heed to the statements, requests, mandates of the union government and reduced their population. So you are going to reward them with more seats?
Kaushal, how do you respond to that?
Yes,
right.
Akanksha, I just wanted to ask, there are certain religious groups whose growth rate is much higher than the normal growth rate. Listen to me, listen to me, Mr.
Sarvanan, let him make a point. Let him make a point. You can't speak over the panelist. This is not the way we conduct a debate. You're on a very civilized TV news channel. Let Kaushal make his point, and then I'll give you time to respond. I'm afraid I'll have to mute people who speak over each other. Please do not do so.
Akanksha, my question is that it means if the population group or any class is having higher birth rate, we should reduce their contribution to the parliamentary election. Means we should cut down their vote. Is what Mr. Sarvanan is saying? Means Muslim growth rate is highest in the country. So what Mr. Sarvanan want? They want that we should reduce their voting right. If they are ready for that, we can talk about that.
Mr. Sarvanan, how do you respond to that?
That's the BJP with his usual bluster. This is fake news.
Why
fake
you
news
are
always
double
peddled by the BJP.
Why you are setting double standard?
No factual basis. There is no factual basis.
It is factual.
Akanksha,
this is wrong.
I think I want to bring in Lakshmi Ramachandran. Many are talking about how can we ensure that there's a federal balance as far as the equilibrium between both the houses is concerned. You're looking at Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Is it time to also strengthen the Rajya Sabha? And should the Finance Commission also be bestowed upon greater powers compared to just the Delimitation Commission? Let's say if there is lesser representation for states, why not reward them with more financial incentives?
Absolutely. The representative from BJP, whatever he is saying is contradicting the assurance that the Home Minister gave in his speech in Coimbatore today. So the contradiction has already begun. That's why we don't trust anything that this government tells us. You're right. I know population should not be the only factor for determining the representation in Parliament. If there is the democratic right. There is, each person gets a vote. That is one aspect of democracy. The other aspect is federalism. The states also have a certain voice in Parliament. If this state's voice has to be safeguarded, if the federal representation, it should not become that 3 or 4 states become more powerful in the parliament than the other states. That's what will happen. If we just go by population, then
Kaushal wants to come in on that point.
Rajasthan and Bihar will become more powerful in parliament than all other states and all other
Okay,
people.
I need to quickly go across to Shashank Shekhar Jha, who's also just joined in.
Not be the only factor.
Okay, I'll give quick 30 seconds to Mr. Kaushal to in fact come up with the rebuttal, and I need to go across to Shashank.
Akanksha, as promised by Home Minister sir, there will be no reduction of any seat whatsoever is there in any state. It will increase. It will never reduce. I don't know why they are trying to confuse the public of South India. They are doing the same thing what they did, that आरक्षण खत्म हो जाएगा, संविधान खत्म हो जाएगा, सब कुछ खत्म हो जाएगा, देश bankrupt हो जाएगा. They are just misleading the people. Nothing else. It is a constitutional responsibility of constitutional maker to go for delimitation when the population crosses certain limits. It is set by our constitution, and the constitution is firm, and federalism is strong enough to take care of each and every state. It's not only the population, it's the federal
Shashank
structure
Shekhar
also.
Jha, I want to bring you in on the point that is being made by Kaushal right now. Can we have an equitable, federalism prevail in a parliament where representation is the population? Jitni jansankhya utna hi haq. That is also what Prime Minister had said, in fact, in 2023 while campaigning for Telangana. So how does one ensure that there is greater equitable financial representation also, along with maintaining that equilibrium between financial representation and federal representation as well?
Namaste Akansha ji and my fellow panelist here. Akansha ji, there are three aspects to this. One, delimitation is a necessity as per the requirement by the Constitution of India. It was frozen for some time because otherwise it would have been, created a negative impact on the development of this country. Now we need to understand that when the reservation, and I am comparing it in a very different parameter, when reservation for EWS category came into existence, the 10% reservation, at that point of time, the number of reservation, the number of seats reserved for SC, ST, OBC category did not reduce. In fact, the overall number available for any student or any person who is applying for a particular job has been increased, so that the number of SC, ST or OBC reservations does not reduce. So likewise, when delimitation will come into existence, the number of member of parliamentarians coming from particular constituency or say particular state or assembly state, it will not reduce. The overall number will increase significantly in order to have a proper implementation of delimitation.
But now, don't you think that it is also time? Yes, exactly. I want to ask you, is it not time that Rajya Sabha also be strengthened in terms of representation and, perhaps political parties also be given greater say when it comes to introducing these financial legislations?
Akansha, there are 2 points. When we are talking about financial inclusions, I guess North Indian states who are currently in loggerhead with South Indian states as far as this delimitation process is concerned, never objected when central institutions like ISRO, HAL, space agencies, everything went into southern states. It went there and developed those southern states. Now the same thing, same requirement is also being asked by the northern states. For example, Bihar, when you compare it with Kerala, you will see the very sharp difference, because Kerala has those central institutions which otherwise is lacking in UP or Bihar. So if we are talking about financial inclusions, we must understand the fact that this is a country of 140 plus crore population, having a very big geographical location.
I'm going to give Kaushal Mishra closing thoughts. Okay, quickly, I'm running short of time. आप देर में आए हैं, जल्दी.
Akansha,
Kaushal, let him make his point. Shashank, quick, 10 seconds.
You can see the hypocrisy of
जो लोग ये कहते हैं जिसकी जितनी हिस्सेदारी उसकी उतनी भागीदारी, तो दैट शुड कम हियर आल्सो. कांग्रेस जब बोलती है कि ज्यादा लोग होंगे तो ज्यादा रिजर्वेशन चाहिए, तो वो तो डेवलप इंडिया की यूपी का पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा है तो उनका रिजर्वेशन ज्यादा है.
I'll come to you, Kaushal.
Everybody is contradicting what the assurance given by the Home Minister today in Coimbatore. Mr. Amit Shah said that the number of seats for Tamil Nadu will not go down on pro rata basis, not just the numbers not going down, even proportionally we will stand at the same level.
All right, Kaushal, closing thoughts. Why must southern states treat the government at the center or the central government as their primary adversary, is what the sense that everybody is getting in right now. I need to go to a breaking input.
Akansha, it is misleading because Moili committee report, which is formed by the Congress government, itself says that all the central institution has got Kerala, means South Indian state representation is more than 2/3. It is written in the Moili committee report. In all the, whether it is North Indian institution or South Indian institution,
all right,
2/3 representation from the South India. So they are just misleading the country on the vote bank and they just want to divide the country. Nothing more than that.
All right, many thanks to you, Lakshmi, and the gentleman for joining in on this discussion. We have some breaking inputs, in fact, coming in. This is with regards to the Hindi imposition debate, and just amid this entire row, we are learning that Karnataka's Minister Santosh Lad has made a big charge. The Karnataka Minister, in fact, has alleged that at a meeting in Delhi, the Labour Minister Mansukh Mandavia was loud and clear asking everyone to speak in Hindi himself. Let's also listen in to what the Karnataka Minister has had to say when he's referring to that massive charge coming in with regards to Mansukh Mandavia.
The union government is arm twisting us into accepting NEP and imposing Hindi in the state, and saying that for decades now the state has followed this two-language formula. And we've seen a lot of back and forth between the state of Tamil Nadu and union government on this.
It has been there. See, if you see most of the states now, especially in Bangalore, they're forcing, when BJP ruling state was there, they forced some of the wordings to be written in Hindi. So apparently when I had been to recently, even in Delhi, when we had a meeting, so the minister himself, the labor minister himself was very loud and clear that he was requesting everybody to speak in Hindi. So why they are forcing upon Hindi like this, God knows. So the hidden agenda is same, nothing else. The language agenda and as well as the ideology of BJP is being shown more than over the constitution. This is what it looks like.
We'll quickly go across to Harish Upadhyay, but in fact what you hear is this massive charge coming in from that Karnataka minister Santosh Lad, who's in fact referring to the Labour Minister Mansukh Mandavia, he in fact goes on to talk about how Mandavia was loud and clear asking everyone to speak in Hindi, and he's saying that this is now becoming an ideological issue for the Bharatiya Janata Party, who is imposing the Hindi as a language, as a third language. We've already seen the kind of furor it's created in states even like Tamil Nadu, and now even Karnataka and Kerala also joining in the chorus. The Congress there in Karnataka very much maintaining that this is now become an ideological issue. In fact, let me quickly bring in Sudat Bharadwaj, who brings us those breaking inputs. So that break it down for us when the opposition parties are taking jibes at the Bharatiya Janata Party, saying that this is now in fact superseding what the constitution says when you look at the entire language debate.
Yes, of course, with the delimitation process and, of course, MK Stalin calling in for a meeting now, on an all-party meeting on March 5th to opposing the delimitation process. It has also had the, undertones of a language war, really, because, they feel if northern states are rewarded as a result of delimitation and have more seats, this is also imposing upon the south. So that is why, this has also taken a, linguistic turn, a language war kind of turn, where, Minister Santosh Lad too now says that, the Hindi imposition is taking place, and this is the agenda of the BJP. This is what, the minister is also saying right here. So you can clearly say that opposition leaders, many of them, are feeling that this is more than just delimitation. This is more than just rewarding, punishing northern or southern states. This is also taking a turn where people feel this is imposition of Hindi on southern states, the imposition of a Hindi mindset, and that is why the centre is responsible for this.
Many thanks to you, Sudat, for bringing us all those inputs.